In our previous video, we talked about some of the delays with the new Shadow, Ultra and Infinite tiers, some of the causes behind that, and some of the workarounds they're putting in place to overcome them. But just in case you missed that, a quick TLDR of that previous video taken directly from the Shadow Discord. Scaling in cloud computing is not as simple as it may seem. Making Shadow work for 1, 100 or 1000 users doesn't necessarily mean the same developed systems and methods will work flawlessly for 10,000 and more. This means that we are, at this moment, still limited in terms of scaling Shadow Ultra and Shadow Infinite to the size we targeted during the initial pre-order phase. Some technical difficulties we ran into during our earlier tests with the new configurations were regarding water cooling and motherboard management. These are two examples we need to explore further and stabilize to continue our promise to democratize high-end gaming. So we talked about previously, for all of the people who had pre-ordered, an email was due out on the 18th of February, giving you tailored options both in the email and some further options in your account section of the Shadow website.
I'm learning.
But some further information which has come out since then includes 10% of users who pre-ordered Ultra or Infinite will in fact be activated in March, with the remaining still due to be onboarded in late 2020. Of those 10%, users will be randomly selected, and that 10% will be made up of 30% of new users and 70% of existing users. However, if you are an existing user and you are picked within this random lottery of 10% of people, just note that the function for migrating your system has yet to be developed. It should be in place by the time most people get onboarded in late 2020. But if you are selected for this early onboarding in March, that function doesn't exist yet. So in order to get your data across, it will involve a factory reset. However, this won't happen without your say-so. Basically, Shadow will provide you with some instructions on what to do, how to back up your data, how to move it across, and you give the go-ahead to make that move. But if you're not in that 10%, your onboarding journey can be mapped out in this handy graphic provided by Shadow, which can be found in the pre-order section of the Shadow Discord, which I will link in the description down below. So firstly, for the boost tier, we discussed in a previous video that this tier wasn't really subject to the delays. So for new users, regardless of your pre-order date, the onboarding for this began in February, but because of the delays with Ultra and Infinite and the number of new users who are going to be onboarded to Boost, this new user onboarding date will soon be updated on the Shadow website to read July 2020. If you're an existing user and selected the Boost tier, more information would have been sent to you in that email on February 19th, and your price will automatically be adjusted to the brand new Boost price in March, in line with your billing cycle. But for Ultra and Infinite, the big ones, if you pre-ordered before February 2020, the email you received on the 19th of February will say one of two things. Congratulations! You are part of that 10% of special people who get onboarded in March. An official date has been given for when that onboarding will start, and that is March the 9th. Option 2, for the other 90% of people, sucks to be you. You will be activated at a later date and have the following options. Number 1, get activated on Shadow Boost at the Shadow Boost price until your chosen tier is ready. Number 2, cancel your order. Goodbye.
So long, partner.
Or option 3, do nothing and wait for your onboarding date in summer 2020. And then just a few pieces of additional information, Ghost and extra storage are still expected to be delivered in March. And anytime we were talking about them doing activations, they've stated those activations will only be taking place between Monday and Thursday, so as not to cause any interference with regular users during a busy weekend period. So that's everything we know about the onboarding journey so far. Obviously, as we've said, all of this is kind of subject to change, as it has been doing so far at the moment on a weekly basis. So the best place to be kept up to date with all of this information is the Shadow Discord or the Shadow Reddit page, both of which I will link in the description down below. Baby Yoda. And now that I've got your attention, Baby Yoda. If you're a fan of Pops, then check out Pop in a Box for a huge selection of Pop figures at a great price. Pop in a Box has access to exclusive Pops that can't be found anywhere else. And if you've ever signed up to one of those monthly gamer boxes before, you know your favorite part was receiving a Pop and the rest just went in the trash. Well, Pop in a Box has you covered. You can tailor your monthly subscription to get only the Pops you want, the ones you're interested in, and tell them the ones you've already got. This isn't Pokemon in the 90s. Doubles should not be a thing. Choose from franchises like Marvel, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Disney, DC, Star Wars, gaming, and more, and choose to receive either 1, 2, 3, 6, or for the clinically insane people, 12 Pops a month. For more information on Pop in a Box, check out the link in the description down below. Moving on, let's get some more not great news out of the way. As of February 26th, the Shadow app for iPhone and iPad was officially removed from the Apple App Store due to failure to act in accordance with a specific part of the App Store guidelines. Hasn't been shared with us exactly what that failure was or what part of the guideline it was. Shadow have just stated they are currently investigating and looking to bring the app back to the App Store as soon as possible. If you currently have the app downloaded on your iPhone or iPad, this guideline breach doesn't prevent that app from working. All it does is prevent you from downloading the app from the App Store. So the number one recommendation at the moment is, if you currently have it, for the love of God, don't uninstall it. So this isn't particularly great timing, especially when paired with the tier delay news, but to offer a small amount of defense, in a few videos we've talked about before how difficult it is to get an app approved in Apple's App Store. It's that complexity which has delayed even the likes of Microsoft having their Project xCloud app accepted into Apple's test flight, and even so only being approved for 10,000 users to try one game, compared to the Android version, which has been out for months now and contains their full library. So with that, let's try to end on some good news, and that is the extended controller support feature has now been rolled out. So the issue here was Shadow, being a Windows 10 PC and running Windows games, only natively recognized inputs from an Xbox controller, which all worked fine. But what if you don't have an Xbox controller? So the recent update fixes all of that by allowing all types of controllers to be easily paired and instantly recognized by Shadow. So we're talking Xbox 360 controllers, Xbox One controllers, PlayStation 4 controllers, Switch Pro controllers, and even dodgy third-party controllers, which your Aunt Karen bought you for your birthday because she was advised by the salesperson that it's just as good as the name brand. So one big benefit of having this baked into the service now is previously, for example, if you wanted to use a PlayStation 4 controller, you would have to download and install additional drivers like DS4 Windows, which from my experience of using it in the past always added a little bit of latency on top. Shadow themselves have also said when you use these types of drivers on a local machine, they usually work fine, but when you add it to a cloud PC system, it adds a certain amount of complexity. So yeah, the new update allows you to connect any controller, and you can connect them any way you want as well. So that's connecting them directly with a USB cable, whether you're using a USB adapter, or whether you're connecting via Bluetooth. Basically what it's doing is taking the input from any of those controllers and turning it into an Xbox input, which Windows or Shadow will recognize. Not only that, but up to 4 controllers of any kind can be connected at one time, which makes Shadow on the TV a great option for co-op couch gaming. So that's the latest in the world of Shadow right now. As we said previously, and as Shadow have said themselves, information on these topics is changing daily and weekly at the moment. So the best way to stay up to date with all of this information, number one, subscribe to the channel. But number 2, as I mentioned, I'll leave links in the description down below to Shadow's Discord and to their Reddit page where you can get the most up-to-date information as it happens. But if you enjoyed the video, if you found the information particularly helpful, a like rating would be appreciated. If you have not already, remember to subscribe to the channel. And as always, I shall see you in the next one.